Hi, my name is Sim and welcome to simracing. With the release of the announcement trailer for WRC Generations a few days ago, it's time to put my analysis hat back on and do some analysing. Analyzing. So let's get right into it and take a closer look at what we know so far about WRC Generations. First things first, WRC Generations will be the last officially licensed WRC game developed by KT Racing and published by Nacon, which is based on the 2022 WRC season. Personally, I'm an absolute fan of the name. I don't really like the numerical element in game titles. WRC Generations just sounds fantastic. Oddly enough, the release date is quite a bit later than last year, almost a month and a half later, as it will be out on October 13th. However, that's not the biggest surprise, because whilst PS4, PS5, as well as Xbox One and Series X and S players will be able to enjoy it at that time, PC players will have to wait a bit longer. No exact date has been set as of yet. I'm really struggling to find any explanation as to why this is the case. As per usual, there is also a Nintendo Switch version coming out at some point as well. Now the question on everyone's mind then is whether KT Racing's WRC franchise will go out with a bang or rather fizzle out. To find out, let's begin by going over all the content we know is going to be present in WRC Generations. When it comes to cars, we will see the appearance of the brand new 2022 Rally 1 machinery. This includes the somewhat fragile Hyundai i20, the strong Toyota GR Yaris and the stunningly beautiful Ford Puma. For these cars, KT Racing had to develop new physics as they are completely different from previous generations. The main aspect here, of course, is the hybrid system these monsters are equipped with. For those of you who don't know how this system works in real life, I'll give you a short overview. Each of the Rally 1 cars is fitted with a petrol engine and a hybrid unit or battery. At its max, the hybrid unit can unleash an extra 130 brake horsepower, which combined with the petrol engine churns out 530 brake horsepower in total. However, that amount of power isn't available to the drivers all of the time. When they set off from the start line, they will be able to use the full boost for a short period. Afterwards, drivers need to regenerate X amount of energy in order to use subsequent boosts later on. Regenerating energy occurs during braking. In layman's terms, you have a bar which depletes when you use the boost, and in order to fill up that bar again, you have to brake. Once that bar reaches a certain level, you'll be able to use another one of those boosts. Somehow, in a way, it reminds me of using nitrous in games such as the older Need for Speed titles. Apart from the new Rally 1s, we also have the Rally 2 cars. These are just the R5s from the past. This includes the Skoda Fabia, Ford Fiesta, Hyundai i20 and the Citroën C3. Players will be able to select the liveries of most of the real-life drivers who competed in WRC 2 this year. Next up we have the brand new Ford Fiesta Rally 3, a car which is driven by all the competitors in Junior WRC and which will have all the liveries of the JWRC drivers such as last year's champion Sami Pairi and championship runner-up John Armstrong. WRC Generations will also feature 37 legendary cars. In the trailer we see glimpses of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 5, the Peugeot 205 T16 Evo 2 and the Citroën C3 WRC. Location-wise, WRC Generations will feature the 13 that are on this year's WRC calendar, as well as 9 others which aren't. The 13 in question are Rally Monte Carlo, Rally Sweden, Croatia Rally, Vodafone Rally de Portugal, Rally Italia Sardinia, Safari Rally Kenya, Rally Estonia, Sector Automotive Rally Finland, Wipers Rally Belgium, Eco Acropolis Rally Greece, Repco Rally New Zealand, Rally RACC Catalunya Rally de España and Forum 8 Rally Japan. Only New Zealand and Japan are new compared to previous seasons. They were supposed to be on a past WRC calendar but got cancelled and replaced due to some disease. I wonder which one that was. KT Racing however did include them in their previous games, so for us as players they won't be new at all. The stages from those locations in the previous titles such as WRC 10 will remain the same in WRC Generations, except for one, Sweden. The Swedish ones used in WRC 10 were basically copy-pasted from WRC 5 or 6 and were almost as wide as an LA highway. From the trailer we can see that it's going to be a lot more authentic in that regard, thank goodness for that. Of the other 9 locations we know that Rally Chile and Wales Rally GB are on the list. All in all, that's 22 different locations, giving us 165 stages in total for roughly 750 competitive kilometers. Those numbers definitely do sound impressive, but you need to remember it's not 165 unique stages. It'll be one very long stage which will be run in reverse, as well as cut up into shorter stages, each with their own reverse option. A few locations will have a super special stage too, which is very short. The purpose of those is to put on a little show for the spectators. What about the main features in the game then? Well, we will see the return of the livery editor, with the addition that players will now be able to share their creations with others. I'm still confused why that wasn't an option in WRC 10, but I suspect it has to do with time constraints. However, it's great to see that KT Racing is adding it now. The online experience will undergo changes as well, with a ranked or rated league system so that you compete against drivers of your own level. There will also be daily, weekly and perhaps monthly challenges. And finally, we have the teams and co-driver modes as well. Offline features will include an updated career mode, but no details are available just yet about how that's going to work. And last but not least, I've heard and read that the audio will be reworked as well. Now that we know all the factual stuff, let's go over some of my predictions. Firstly, it will be interesting to see how KT Racing implements the hybrid mechanic. Will they stay true to reality, or will it just be a bar that fills up over time? I really do expect it to remain true to reality, but for some reason I wouldn't be shocked if it's the latter. Secondly, WRC 10 had 35 legendary cars, some of which were the same car but with different liveries, so we can expect a few new arrivals in this class. Hopefully new cars and not just an additional livery or two. The car models themselves of those which are carried over from previous titles won't see any updates either by the looks of it. The ones we see in the trailer look exactly the same, which is meh. It's neither good nor bad, just an average meh. When it comes to the driving physics, I suspect that those who play WRC 8, 9 and 10 will feel very much at home. There might be some minor tweaks, but nothing major in any way. As I mentioned just a very short while ago, the engine and exhaust audio will be revamped as well, again. Now it is interesting that in the announcement trailer they did use in-game audio. You can obviously hear it because it sounds very artificial and nothing like the real cars. It is still early and the audio is definitely not in its final state, hopefully, so we might hear some improvements over time. Will it blow us away like Dirt Rally 2.0 did? Well, no. It has been their weakness from day one up until the present, so if they haven't been able to properly design it in the past 6 or 7 years, I don't see them wowing us when WRC Generations releases. Turning our attention back to those extra 9 locations, they will most likely be those that were present in previous WRC titles. If we are really fortunate, perhaps there will be 1 or 2 new ones which will have just a couple of stages. Now we know that Wales Rally GB and Rally Chile will be amongst them, and I expect we can add Germany, Argentina, Mexico and San Remo to that list too. That leaves us with 3 open slots. With a bit of luck we will see the return of Turkey and Corsica, which are to this day fan favourites, as well as Australia. When it comes to graphics, I don't see any major changes there either, but rather some minor tweaks. I sincerely hope that they can fix those graphical fidelity issues such as the frame rate drops, the stutter, etc, especially for high graphical settings or lower. WRC 10 can look stunning one moment and just a few seconds later completely horrendous. Sometimes it genuinely looks like a mid-2000s PS2 game. To end the video, I'll express some of my wishes for WRC Generations. In other words, things I'd like to see KT Racing address. First of all, I'd love to have a solid peripheral support from the get-go. The demo of WRC 10 exposed numerous issues when it came to wheel support, and once the game launched, many of them still remained, the main casualty being Trustmaster gear. I sincerely hope they are able to fix all of the peripheral issues they encountered with WRC 10 for their last hurrah. Knowing the simracing community, there will be a high demand for VR and motion rig support, but I don't expect that to be added. Players most likely will have to rely on third-party mods for that. Secondly, I wish the career mode would offer 2 main options. One that allows you to select the car class you want to drive with, and the other being a story style mode where you rise through the ranks of the junior WRC, compete in WRC 2 to then be picked by one of the WRC teams to be on their roster. And lastly, I and pretty much everyone else apparently wish a proper separation of the leaderboards. Now you are thrown in with everyone else regardless of anything. Having the option to see your time compared to other wheel or controller players would be nice, as well as a division based on platform, gearbox types such as manual, semi-automatic, automatic, etc., or region and country. Then there are the leaderboards for the legendary car class, which needs a serious rework as well. Players driving an early 2000 Citroën Zara WRC, a 2007 Ford Focus RS WRC, or a previous generation Toyota Yaris WRC all end up on the same leaderboards. It just doesn't make any sense in any way, shape or form, so it needs to be addressed. Right, there you have it, an analysis of the WRC Generations announcement trailer with the additional predictions and wishes of myself. I hope you enjoyed the video and feel free to write down what you think of the upcoming WRC Generations or my performance in the video. Thank you very much for watching, enjoy the rest of your day and until next time.